Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Monday Halls Live. I'm excited to be hanging out with everybody tonight. I've got a great couple of guests with me hanging out tonight. We've got Southern Comic Geek, and then I've also got Stu, also known as Dr. Doom's Fan Club over on Instagram. So these guys are going to be sharing some of the books they've picked up. We're also got a couple of recommendations we're going to make for upcoming stuff. Might even have a little bit of discussion about what those titles could be like when they come out. We were having some good discussion in the green room before. Maybe we'll continue it. But hey, thanks for being here, because guess what? The most important person that is hanging out here with us tonight is each and every one of you. So I can't wait to see you in just a minute. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Well, hey, we are here hanging out. We're going to do some chat shout-outs, but before we do that, let me go ahead and bring out the two guys that are going to be here with us hanging out tonight. First up, I'm going to introduce him, Southern Comic Geek. Many of you know him from YouTube. He's got his own channel. Make sure and check him out. I'll get him to drop a link into his channel in the chat, but here he is, Southern Comic Geek.
Hey, what's going on, folks? Thank you for having me tonight, Carlos. And it's nice to meet somebody new that I've never met in the community, the other panelists here tonight. And as Carlos said, thank you to all of you that are going to be hanging out and watching us live or on the rewind. In either case, hopefully you're already subscribed to everybody's channel represented here tonight and have smashed that all-important like button. That way we can fight against the almighty YouTube algorithm. And hey, let's have some fun talking about some expensive pieces of paper.
There you go. There you go. Let's bring it on next to Stu, a.k.a. Dr. Doom's Fan Club. I love that username. Stu, you got to unmute yourself, buddy.
Yeah. There you are. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're okay, good. You're good. I did it for you.
My bad, dude. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I second what Southern Comic Geek said. Being on here with new people. Getting to meet other awesome members of this community is always awesome. So I'm just so glad to be back, and thanks for having me, Carlos. Can't wait to talk comics.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Hey, so let's go to the chat real quick, do some chat shout outs, and then we're going to get started with some of the books that we've picked up. First up, I see S. Vaughn 82 is hanging out. Much love from Chattanooga, Tennessee, Monday night's comic book community in the house. That's right. Speaking of, just a real quick shout out. You may have noticed that now we are talking about the Monday night lineup, the Monday night comic community lineup. There's a bunch of us that stream live shows on Monday nights, and we want you to check out each and every one of them, because you might find a new one that maybe you'd never heard of before, and you might like it. So coming up here each Monday night, Easyverse kicks it off. Easyverse NYC kicks it off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by S. Vaughn 82 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. These are all Eastern time slots. Geek Out with Roscoe at 8:35 p.m. They were sick, so Roscoe, hey, we hope you're getting to feeling better. Roscoe was sick, so they did not broadcast tonight. 22 Comics goes live at 9 p.m. Eastern. Cup O Comics goes live at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then yours truly, me, here on the Cross Collects channel, we go live at 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern. So make sure and check out some of these other channels. There's a lot of cool content, a lot of cool different concepts going on Monday nights. But big thanks to those guys for continuing to broadcast and put content out there, quality comic content out there. So let's continue on with saying hey to the chat and seeing who all we got hanging out here with us. So S. Vaughn says, y'all hit the like button and on your way in. There you go. Las Cruces 1971. Good to see you. I know it is hot and very hot there in New Mexico where you're hanging out right now. El Green Machine says, hello, everyone. Southern Comic Geek popping up in the chat here as well. Let's see. Las Cruces says, it is hot here. He says he's doing 39 consecutive days of over 100 degrees. The question is, it is a dry heat, is what I understand. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's very hot. 22 Comics says, "What's good, good people?" Nelvis Eats is popping in here saying, "Hey everyone." Bunch of back and forth. 22, my little brother, howdy howdy. Mr. Collector 123 popping in saying, "I can't wait to see all the Miles pickups." I don't know if we got any Miles pickups this week. What's up, Thiago? Good to see you as well. Glad that you're hanging out with us tonight. What's up, Weapon X? There he is. Let's see, wait, where is it? Man, those glasses will make these Carlos floating heads look awesome. Thank you. All right. Weapon X, hello. Brooklyn Born says, "Hi, Clark Kent, Carlos, and chat." That's right. I am wearing my disguise. If it works for Superman, it works for me. This is my disguise, my everyday outfit. And then here I am, Carlos Collects Comics, revealed as a superhero by night, or YouTube somebody by night, something. All right. Hey, so chat, we're glad that you're here because you are the most important part. Those who are popping in, make sure and drop into the chat and say hi. Also, like Southern Comic Geek reminded everybody, make sure and hit that like button. So tonight we're gonna do some sharing, some round robin style sharing of what we've picked up over the past week to week and a half's worth of like pop culture goings on in the community. That's essentially what this show is. But also we have some other stuff we're going to be sharing towards the end of the episode, where we're going to share some recommendations, some upcoming books that we're keeping our eyes on. We might even have a little bit of discussion about one of them because we had had some good conversation around it. And so I'm looking forward to that. Just different cool stuff coming up in the comic community. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and share a couple of books that I got. These are AOKs that came in from, and I'll share just a few of these. And then I'm going to pass it over to Southern Comic Geek to let him share some of his stuff. So I've been collecting the G.I. Joe run. I've only been focusing on issues 1 through 155. I'm about 37 issues away from finishing. I have all the big keys. Now it's just finding those random fillers here and there, and then some of the upper number issues, which are a little bit harder to come by because they have low print runs. So those, I just try to get those for the, because they're generally like a $15, $20 book each, from like number 135-ish all the way up to 155, which 155 is like usually a $100 to $150 book, or more. But I had a little AOK from Amazing Spider Flint this past week, which was super cool. Hey, there he is in the chat. Popping in. Yeah, this is the guy right here. So so he said, "Hey, I had a couple of some G.I. Joe yearbooks, which is the G.I. Joe annuals for the main series." And he shared those, or he was kind enough to pass those off to me. So I got, which I love this cover. This is G.I. Joe yearbook number 2 right here. And so this is the annual number 2 for G.I. Joe. And which the cool thing about yearbook is, so there's yearbook and then there's Order of Battle. Yearbook is their annual, which has a bunch of different stories. Really enjoying those. He also gave me these are both newsstands, mind you, but he also gave me a newsstand copy of G.I. Joe yearbook number 3. So I've got 2 and 3 now. And the thing is, I hadn't started on like all the peripheral things like G.I. Joe Special number 1 or the yearbooks or Order of Battles. So this is kind of a cool start. Love these covers, of course, both featuring Snake Eyes. And I'm looking forward to being able to sit down and enjoy these and read them. And big shout out and thank you to Amazing Spider Flint for those. I have some other books from him that I'm going to showcase as we get later on. I did also want to show this. I don't know if I had shared this one on a previous episode or not, but I came across this G.I. Joe Order of Battle number 3. It's a 4-issue limited series that kind of does the same thing as the Marvel Universe handbook. So this is G.I. Joe Order of Battle number 3. It's a 4-issue limited series. And this just goes through all the different characters and gives their bios and their histories and where things were at this time. So I've been a big G.I. Joe fan. I'm very excited about what's going on within the Hasbro verse. and the teaser at the end of Transformers: Rise of the Beast that G.I. Joe is now going to be crossing over with them. I'm really hoping that they can nail it this time around. I thought that was one of the better Transformers films. I mean, it's still a live action Transformer film, but I thought it was one of the better ones. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. On back of that, number 2 is October Guard. Okay, so Weapon X says this was his first comic. And on back of that, number 2 is October Guard. I'll have to pull it out and check it out. But hey, so that's going to be my first round, because I can't wait to get it over to a couple of our other 2 guys that are on. So I'm going to pass it to Southern Comic Geek first, and let's see what he's got for us. Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I know if Paul's watching out there, he's not familiar with this logo. He's more of a GoBot fan, but that's for Transformers. Speaking of G.I. Joe and what is being done with the Hasbro verse now that it's been wrested from the hands of IDW, who is not worthy. Okay, I've got an eclectic pickup. So I got this.
What?
Valiant Era Chromium card set. And so this is the Chromium cards for the various look at that.
Oh, wow.
And then it's all the Chromium ones that they released. And so that, of course, Exo and Ninjak and all them.
Oh, that is pretty cool. So is that vintage from back when all those were being released? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm on the Valiant fan forum, which admittedly there's not a lot left, a lot of action there, but occasionally you'll catch somebody that's getting rid of some stuff, and you're able to pick up some cool stuff. Now let's go across the pond a little bit. How about some foreign Batman?
What?
So
Wow.
this is from 1958. This has Batman 107, which is what that cover is. Notice how they color Batman, which is one of the things about foreign comics. But Batman 114, this is from Italy, and it also has Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen in it.
Nice.
That's so cool.
That's really cool.
Then we got Batman 165, and it's got some Superman issues in here as well, from 1965.
Oh, wow.
Issue 165, and from Italy.
That is really cool.
I love the different colorations on that the outfits that they do on these foreign.
And because a lot of times, DC, especially back in the day, DC and Marvel, all they wanted was a check. They really weren't interested in. They didn't think that there was a lot of money in these properties overseas to be had. Certainly, this was big before the big craze with movies and such, and so. It like Moon Knight. If you get Moon Knight Spanish edition, he's blue and red. Sometimes it also has to do with the ink that they had available.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is 1968. This has Justice League #1 in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so this would be the first Justice League #1 in Italy here.
Wow.
Batman 202, which
cover.
is what the cover is, and then Batman 108 as well.
Oh, wow. So they would combine the issues overseas then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, and you'll get and if you like gimmick covers, like the newer Italian stuff and things like that, they have like a Doctor Strange book that has like cloth cover. His cloak is cloth, and so they're very. If you like gimmick covers, the foreigners have got it for you.
That's
So
pretty nice.
I got that, and then I got some original art in. How about Incredible Hulk 290? So this issue has a lot of significance because this is the first Incredible Hulk comic I ever owned.
Oh, wow.
Incredible Hulk 290. This is the first appearance of Miss MODOK, and as you see her right there,
What?
this is
That's cool.
her first appearance was in this issue, and then this page is the death of the Abomination.
Oh wow.
And so this is Sal Buscema, who was drawing a lot of issues back then. And of course, this was written by Bill Metlow, better known for creating what Guardians of the Galaxy character?
Star-Lord.
Wrong answer. How about to the chat? Does the chat know what character Bill Metlow created that is of Guardians of the Galaxy fame? I'm sure somebody's going to get it. Well, in the meantime, Bill Mantlo, he was like a powerhouse writer back in the day. Yep, the Trash Panda, Amazing Spider-Flint got it. Or Rocket Raccoon. And so, yeah, that's who he created. And so Bill Mantlo, I mean, he would write all kinds of issues back in those days. And what happened to him was he was rollerblading and a car hit him. He is still alive, but he doesn't know who he is. He's been in a home to be cared for years now, like 30 plus years. Really sad.
Oh no.
Yeah, now I need a new video. Hey, I just did a new video for my X-Men art portfolio, and but yeah, so that'll be released. Speaking of X-Men, man, I love those segues like that. Okay, so Sabretooth. This is Gary Frank, who's probably better known for his Junkyard Joe nowadays, or his Doomsday Clock release.
Yeah.
So this is OG Gary Frank. This is, of course, Sabretooth. And for those X-Men or 90s aficionados, you'll remember this issue is the Chromium Wraparound. And a lot happened in this issue. Sabretooth, if you remember the Age of Apocalypse, Wolverine snaps his claw into Sabretooth's head. So there for a while, Sabretooth was acting like he wasn't really there.
Right.
So he has a fight with Psylocke. He breaks out, has a fight with Psylocke, nearly takes her life, which is kind of a repeat of an older battle, kind of around two. And so the original X Factor go after him to take him down. And then that's how he ends up in X Factor with the mask, the metal mask and the metal glove, like the Hannibal Lecter gloves and stuff on. And so, and the writing on this issue, and it's also how Angel gets his feathered wings back, because he claws Angel's wings and they end up turning back to feathers versus being metal. So there's your X-Men wisdom for today. But the writing was pretty good in this one as well, because it asked the question is, are some people past redemption, right? And so Sabretooth's like, I don't want to be redeemed, and they're like, Xavier's tried to help you, and so I don't want to be redeemed. There's such thing as just some people are just bad people. You got to want some help too. So that was kind of a deeper subject, but yeah, from a fun issue. That's actually the second page from that issue I owned. I actually scored that one a lot cheaper than I did the other one. I guess some people weren't paying attention, and I was able to score that one and bought that off of Heritage here recently. Oh, wow. So didn't get my comics last week, but I'll play 2 weeks worth this week, this Wednesday, and catch up with them. So that's what I got.
Cool. Man, that's really nice stuff. So you said you got the second art, the Sabretooth art from Heritage. Where did you get the other one?
Heritage.
Oh, both of them.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, the Hulk one?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there's a channel on YouTube called Comic Art Live. The guy that does the channel also has a website called comicartfans.com, and people will put their art and all this other kind of stuff about it. I put all my art over there for people to go check out if they want to, but I also put it there for insurance purposes so I can keep up with.
Gotcha.
You don't post how much you pay for stuff, but you have a log that you can see what you paid for stuff and when you bought it. That way, if I lose it or something gets stolen or burnt, a house burns down or something like that, I'll be okay. But so anyway, they have a show every Wednesday called the Dueling Dealers of Comic Book Art, and these two guys that deal in comic book art go back and forth trying to beat the other one. And he showed this page off, and I'm like, oh, that's from the first Hulk issue I ever owned. And
wow.
So what you do, for those of you who've never watched it before, you wait till the end, because unless it's just one you can't live without, wait till the end. And if the numbers are close, they'll do a lot better deal to beat the other person. And that's what I was able to score and do for that one.
Nice. Okay. That's so cool. That's really cool to do, like a nostalgia, be able to do a nostalgia pickup. Because like as you were saying that, I started thinking of like some of the lesser known books that are a big deal to me.
Yeah.
That I remember, like the, I have like, no, I took it down. There's like this one random issue of X-Men that's just a big nostalgia one for me. Nobody else in the world cares about it, but because it's not like a key book or anything.
Right.
It's Jim Lee doing it, and it's but yeah, that, and of course that's Jim Lee original art, so that's a whole different thing. But there was a 3-part story in Detective Comics from like the 90s when Grant and Brayfogle were doing the art.
That's
like
my favorite.
Like that's like my child. I remember picking up that issue, and it has Batman. So I've shown it on the channel before. It's got Batman spread eagled. It's a 6-armed demon with a huge battle axe, and he's holding him with the top 2 arms, holding him with the bottom 2 arms, and the middle 2 arms have the axe, and is about to like swing it, and Batman is like this, and it's just like that stuck with me since I was like 12.
Well, and collecting original art is a whole nother conversation. You do a whole video for it, and can get very, very expensive. But I will say that is a fun part of it, because like if you can remember like that scene and where you were at when you read that scene, like man, that page just jumps out to you in a different way. Yeah. And so one thing that I did here recently, Mike Manley, who drew Batman during a lot of the Nightfall, Night Quest stuff after the breaking of Batman. He also drew Darkhawk. And so Darkhawk was one of my jams back in the day. And the first issue that I got of Darkhawk was Darkhawk number 6, and then had Daredevil and Captain America on the front cover. Well, that cover, I don't know where that cover is. I know where the Darkhawk, I know the guy who owns Darkhawk 1's cover, and he's not letting it go. But the Darkhawk 6 cover, those things are pretty expensive. So I reached out to Mike Manley and got him to recreate that cover for me. Oh, wow. And so it's actually on the way to me now. And so what he's talking about, so I did a portfolio flip of my art. I posted on my YouTube channel, but I reached out to Bill Cox, who owns Comic Art Live, and he will highlight people's art as a video on his channel. And so he did that for my Hulk stuff. Nice. Yeah. So, but I mean, I got Valiant. I got my Valiant bundles. I got my Hulk bundles. My X-Men. I just did a video on that one. But yeah, so it's a fun thing, and it. But yeah, check out comicartfans.com. You could type in searches and stuff, like if you're looking for like one artist or one issue in particular, and you can see maybe reach out and see who it is that has it. You never know; they might end up wanting to sell it. I've gotten a few pages that way. Now, Carlos, before we move on, not to continue to steal thunder here, but look, Mr. Collector knows about it because I shared it with him. Now we know. And he mentioned, so we mention this all the time. We know that when we're around Paul, we're in the presence of greatness. I mean, he's a celebrity. If you don't believe it, just ask him. And so, Paul has finally got into the Spider-Verse, and this is really where Mr. Collector just like had goo-goo eyes over Paul when he realized that he was in the Spider-Verse. Now, Carlos, I shared the video, the movie clip of Paul in there. I didn't know if you wanted to show that tonight. It's totally G-rated, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was my first question, is it
it's totally G-rated.
Right, in the presence of Pepto. Yeah, if you have it.
No, I sent it to your IG.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can pull that up.
But yeah, I think Mr. Collector was in the movie theater when he filmed this, And so, but yeah, Paul, and folks, for y'all that don't know, Paul lives in Mexico. I didn't know if y'all knew that or not. He just routinely will come across the border to come to conventions. But yeah.
Let me see if I can. Okay, so I don't see it on Instagram.
Yeah, I sent it to your Carlos Collects Instagram. No, I didn't. Where is it at? Oh, hold on a second. I thought I did. What happened?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll let you. Oh, there. Oh my gosh. That's right. I'd forgotten that Paul makes an appearance in. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's check this out. I don't know what this is going to do to our copyright stuff, but let's see. Yeah. This is truly. This is a very Paul thing right here. Let me see. Is there a way to make this larger on the Instagram?
Yeah, so that's Paul right there playing. It's not Miles Morales, but that's Paul right there in the Spider-Man suit.
Oh, let me see if I can get this bigger. Yeah,
He's getting his groove on, folks.
That's Paul. Hang on, let me. We're still getting a copyright strike for this one, but I feel like of all the things that we could get one for. For those that didn't know, Paul is had a dark past as a professional dancer.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm working it there.
Well, you might want to turn the sound. There you go. And I figured that Weapon X, our resident direct behind the scenes guy, can come up with something like that with Paul.
Yes.
Yeah. Juan Morales.
Wait, look. All right, so obviously this will show again on Wednesday. Diago says, on behalf of all Brazilians. Oh, there's Paul and the woman, the he-woman.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so for those who for the one person out there in the comic community who wondered, does Paul know how to work it? Now you have your answer.
And knowing's half the battle.
Right, that's it.
See the segue back to that? Yeah, there you go.
I like that. You kind of brought it back neatly, parked it right there, and very good. All right, so on that note, we're gonna send it right on over to Dr. Doom's fan.
Bring it back.
Stu, what do you got to share with us?
Oh man, I don't know how to follow all that. I only have two.
That up, Stu.
You gotta bring it back.
I only have two new books from this past week that I was able to pick up. Void Rivals #2, the new Robert Kirkman series. Of course, you guys have been talking about the Energon universe and Transformers and G.I. Joe. I had to pick this one up. And then I got A Vicious Circle. This is by Lee Bermejo and Mattson Tomlin, who also wrote The Imposter by Batman. And I think he's Matt Reeves' writing partner on that next Batman movie that they're doing. But this is a very cool story about two time traveling type assassins who are kind of intertwined in this battle across the time stream, more or less. They keep anytime they kill or take a human life, they end up getting thrown into a different place in time, and it's Bermejo switches up his style and his aesthetic each time the storyline changes. Yeah, so it's been cool. Wow. Hold on, see if I can.
I was going to say because Bermejo, like the ink style, like is almost the coloring rather is kind of dark sometimes, like almost too dark to look at.
Correct. Yeah.
But in that, it's lightened up where you can really see his art style, and he's really just killing it.
Yeah, that's not
really lightens it up, as you can see right there. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, so this one they get dropped into Nazi Germany and kind of I don't know, the moral questions it asks are very interesting. The time between issues was quite significant, which kind of that always kind of causes you to go back and find your issue 1 and reread it and stuff like that. But it's been very good so far. I've really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. But sorry I don't have a ton of books. That's all I was really able to pick up this week. It's been a crazy week with my wife out of town. But hoping to get to the LCS somewhere in the next couple of days. But those 2 books are ones I've really enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Vicious Circle ends up once they get the last volume out.
Yeah, thanks for the heads up on it. So Vicious, so are you a Lee Bermejo fan?
I am, man. I agree with what Southern Comic Geek is. I think sometimes his lighting is a little too dark, and I think it does affect the quality of his art. But I think overall, I'm definitely a fan. I enjoy his stuff. I think that Dear Detective book that he put together was really cool, just to see all his ideas in one place together like that. I think that Detective Comics cover run he had was really sharp. Sometimes he doesn't hit it all the way out of the park for me, but most of the time I think he does an excellent job. Yeah.
That's cool. I like that he's like a really like people like him as a cover artist, but he also does sequential art. Because I think that's one of the things missing, like in the current crop of that's one of the things missing in the current crop of like artists is there's a lot of guys and gals that they just do cover art, and that's great, but it's like the sequential art is really the that's the meat and potatoes of the art form. And so I think a lot of them, I'd love to see them doing more sequential art rather than just like endless variants, because at a certain point the variant thing is gonna kind of like I'll pick up a variant here or there, if I really like the story, like if I really like the comic, like Traveling to Mars. They had those parody homage covers, and I have really enjoyed the story. So I said, okay, well I'm gonna go ahead and pick up. I think it was like I always get cover A's, but then it was like a cover D. I think was whatever the homage was. So I think he's cool. I haven't read a ton of stuff that he's done, but I haven't seen a lot of stuff that he's done, but his art definitely has a definite feel and texture to it.
Yeah, I'm a real big fan of his on his Batman stuff. I was picking up the B Detective Comics just for his covers.
Yeah.
But his Superman stuff that he was doing for Action Comics, like the poses where he was, the old age-old breaking open the shield like that. Just killer art. He's actually going to be at Galaxy Con there in Austin.
Oh, okay.
He's one of the
people. Okay.
Didn't he come up under Jim Lee? Didn't he come up in Wildstorm Studios or something like that? Isn't his
matter of fact, I've got a trade over here. I got a trade over here that he did a Death Blow Batman story.
Oh wow!
I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, so if you look at his art style, his art style has certainly progressed.
Yeah,
from where he was doing interiors here, but you can see what I'm talking about again as far as the lighting on his stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely killer stuff.
That's cool. Let me see the cover of that one. That's Batman versus Deathblow.
Yeah.
Very cool. The Deathblow is Valiant, right?
No, Deathblow's Image.
Image. Okay.
Yeah, he was one of Jim Lee's. That's really one of the things that catapulted Tim Sale. That did Batman: The Long Halloween. That's one of the things that really catapulted him was that Deathblow run. Because Jim Lee started out, but then largely he was just doing a cover here or there. Tim Sale was doing all the interiors.
Oh wow!
Okay.
I just saw he got put into the Hall of Fame at the Eisner which I thought
Really?
was nice.
Yeah. Of course, unfortunately for stuff like that, a lot of times it ends up being posthumously.
For sure.
He passed away last year before last.
Yeah, it'd be nice if that stuff happened. Like while they were still with us.
And I'm sure it has before. I'm sure there's examples of it where somebody just lived a long time, but and a lot of times people don't realize what they got until it's gone, right?
Right. Yep.
For sure.
Yep. Very, very true.
I think that's a big problem with comics industry as a whole. Is we don't do right by our elders, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, I've told this story before on my channel about Alan Bellman, who was with like the OG Timely people back before it was Marvel Comics, and I went to a show in November of 2019. Had him all to myself, just sitting there talking with him, talking about the old times, World War II. He drew a Captain America and Hitler for me. Just a super, super nice guy. And he died in February of 2020. And like everybody was going after the Donny Cates, and now it's Donny Who.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we do have a tendency to chase the nice and new shiniest thing and forget about the other stuff. Now Neil Adams, I mean, he was so expensive, but I mean, even with him, I'm like, hey, I want to get a chance to meet him, and fortunately enough, I did, and a lot of other people did before he passed. So.
Yeah. He was one of those ones that seemed to still kind of have a demand around. But it's the same thing. I think of like some of these creators like Jerry Conway, Al Milgrom. I've been to conventions and just like there wasn't a line, and was able to just stand there and talk to him.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I would with that same con that I met Alan Bellman at. Mike Zeck, John Beatty, all those Secret Wars guys are sitting right there. Nobody's on. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, I know. Wow. I know. It
works great for me.
We had a Galaxy Con where I'm at in Virginia, and it was a really cool moment. I saw Mark Bagley, but Mark Bagley had nobody in front of him for it seemed like an hour. Anyway, I was right by him, and this family and their kid they had their back to Mark's table. They were looking at the table next to it, and Mark just reached out and grabbed the kid's hand and told him to put it on the table and drew this really cool Spidey mask in like 45 seconds. And the kid like picked his hand up and was just like, oh, I'm looking at his parents, and the parents were thanking Mark. But I just thought it was a cool moment, a really cool moment for, that he gave to that kid for free. And, I don't know. It made me want to go, spend all the money with Mark Bagley, things like that. I just thought it was cool seeing moments like that. So,
I like hearing stories like that.
Yeah, because you hear the stories about everybody being jerks and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
more press.
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep it moving here, and we'll do I think probably one more round. Jason, you got any more to share?
No,
you're done. Okay.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Well, I can finish it up with this round, then we can get to some recommendations here. So, part of the Act of Kindness bundle from again, big shout out to Amazing Spider Flint. So, if y'all remember, there was some issues that were published where they took the Marvel Masterworks artwork from the trading cards, the Marvel trading cards. This issue, I think this was book 1 of 3. And this was the Jim Lee, because he knew I was a big Jim Lee fan, and I did not have these. So this is the Marvel X-Men collection, book 1 of 3, and it's with Jim Lee art there. And so this is book 1, like I said, book 1 of 3, and he was kind enough to pass this off to me. And it's got, it's just, these books like this, they don't happen as much anymore, where it's just like, just artwork, but I do still like them. This is a really nice copy here, but I'll try to show this. So this is like a Beast pinup in here, and then Mr. Sinister and Bishop there, and it's just a full color gallery of a lot of the different characters as drawn by Jim Lee for different trading cards that he did. This just a fun fact. This is my favorite X Factor lineup of all time. and it's not the original one. The comedy hijinks that Peter David came up with for this team, to me, is still some of the best comedic writing in comic books today. I think it rivals the Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis Justice League run in terms of just sharp-witted comedy, just very well written. This was the team that they took over with Volume 1, issue number 71.
Yeah.
And they, it was a bunch of people that I had not really heard of or wasn't interested in until Peter David wrote them. And it was great stuff.
Well, and we were just talking about comic creators. Peter David was another one that you go to a show, and of course he's gotten sick now, and hopefully he'll get better enough to get back to shows. But man, you go to his table and there's nobody there. And like this guy created Spider-Man 2099.
Right.
You talk about the 90s Hulk, 80s to 90s Hulk, right?
Yeah.
Then, like you said, the X Factor team right there. Just great stuff.
Yeah, he's written a ton of amazing stuff. Even now, he's still writing something. Even just got some good stuff here. I wanted to show this one too real quick. This is Gambit and Sabretooth here hanging out. So just it's really all like I'm flipping through it now, and it's just there. It's so varied. I'm looking at Toad and Siren, two small characters, but just to see Jim Lee do a pinup for them or artwork for them was pretty cool. So this is issue 1, and I'm definitely going to be looking for issues 2 and 3 now.
Yeah, the other one's got one's got Gambit on it, one's got Archangel on the front covers.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to catching. Oh, and then look, this is the thing I saw. So this is the Danger Room pinup.
Yes.
At the back.
Nice.
So talking about that, and it's at Dallas Fan Expo, commissioned an artist to start me a Danger Room scene. So when it gets through, it's going to be 4 11x17s, and that's where I got the idea was from that card set. That's the original X-Men Impel card set.
Nice. All right, what's up,
Great
JT
idea.
Comic Books? JT's going to be back with us next week, so y'all make sure and tune in. He's hanging out here. Then Wolverado says, I love that card set. Yeah, a lot of these, it's a shame that it's not a shame. It's good for the people that own them and pick them up, but a lot of these card sets are just so pricey now. I still have my G.I. Joe card set from like the 80s to 90s, I think. Late 80s, early 90s. But yeah, a lot of these card sets have gotten pricier. So this was nice. This is a real nice pickup from Spider Flint. Thank you for that. He also brought, because he knows I like Jim Lee, he had this copy of Batman Damned Book 3. This is the variant, the Jim Lee variant. So he threw this in to the bundle. So again, thank you for that, Spider Flint.
Awesome. Wow.
And then last thing from the bundle that he gave me was, so I am into, I collect Hispanic superheroes, Hispanic themed comics. He knew that. So there's an independent series that he'd come across. And I think we're going to be interviewing this creator, but I'm not sure. So this is called Raise the Gods, and it's based on some Mesoamerican folklore. Out of the vibrant and dangerous rainforests of Mesoamerica, shaman who once spent their lives aiding their tribe now risk them in a magical battle against an ancient and vile race of gods. It is a time when men live in sufferance to these gods, who are not deities eager for worship, but beings to be feared. So that's kind of a cool. And I told him, I said I like to read that, and especially stuff that has to do with some form of theology. Even if it's off of the traditional Judeo-Christian, I still like to read it and kind of just read it and see what people are doing. But so he gave me Raise of the Gods. I think this is issue number 1. I don't see the issue numbers on the cover. Issue number 2. Issue number 3, issue number 4, and issue number 5. So I'm looking forward to reading these, and big shout out. Yes, thank you, Amazing Spider Flint, for picking these up. I'm looking forward to being able to sit down and read these. But yeah, this was another cool pickup, and A-OK from Spider Flint. Spider Flint, y'all may have recognized him. He's the one with the massive slab collection and massive collection of books. And he comes on sometimes on Mondays. Have to have him on again soon. Last pickup that I was going to share is just it's a new book pickup, and I haven't read it yet, but I wanted to share that I did pick it up because I wanted to see what was going on. I am subscribed to it. Night Terrors, that is supposed to lead way into the new Dawn of DC. Night Terrors number 1, pick this up, and then Night Terrors First Blood. So I am not picking up all the Night Terrors, like Nightwing number 1, Night Terrors, Batman number. It's just way too much. I mean, there's like 40 to 50 books that are coming out, and I just said that's just too much for me. So I'm just reading I think it's a 5-part miniseries. So I'm just going to read the base one by Joshua Williamson, who really has become a big mainstay over at DC, and like I've shared on the channel, I've really enjoyed Justice League Incarnate that he did, the new Superman reboot, and the new Green Arrow reboot that he did. So he's just doing some really good writing, and I'm really enjoying his stuff. And just kind of the fresh take that he you can tell he does the research, and we were talking about that in the green room before. Oh, okay, that's what he's saying. There are 5 icons. Nice. Okay, I didn't even catch this. So Amazing Spider Flint said, so at the bottom, you see the icons. The first one is highlighted, and then on each successive issue, the next one is highlighted. So you see the second one is highlighted. Yeah, so it's 5 issues, and each icon. That's cool. That's cool.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool, and the rest are kind of grayed out. You can't quite see it maybe on the screen, but here you can in person. You can definitely see that now that I look at it. Yeah, that's really cool. That's cool. I didn't catch that. So thank you, Spider Flint. Thank you again for the books, and thank you so much for it. So those are the pickups for this week. But as promised, we are not done yet. We're going to spend the next 10 minutes or so just going over some recommendations for books that are coming up. And we'll have a little discussion on Power Girl number 1, which was one of mine. But yeah, I think Southern had some good notes on the writer for that. And I think these guys might. Do each of you have some stuff to share? Some recommendations?
Yeah, I got a couple books for this week I can talk about.
Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it off and share. I shared about this last week, but I didn't have a screen grab pulled for it. So I'm going to go ahead and share it now. So coming up, Batman and Robin number 1. It drops. It's in shops on September the 12th. Remember, new DC Comic Day is on Tuesdays now, folks. So if you want to be, what was a Wednesday warrior, then you're going to have to hit it on Tuesdays to get those new books. But this one's going to be coming out September the 12th. Suggested retail, so cover price of $4.99. This is a wraparound cover, so you can see the entire cover here. And it says his father and son, Bruce and Damian, Batman and Robin. From Batman versus Robin to Night Terrors, a lot has happened to the dynamic duo. But now they're back together and ready to fight crime in Gotham, just in time for Batman's most monstrous rogues to team up to turn the city into an urban jungle. A new villain watches from the shadows, intent on revenge, with a plot to turn one of Batman's greatest assets against him. Can Damian help his father to solve the case before it's too late? A brand new, fun, and exciting father and son adventure begins from DC Comics architect Joshua Williamson and superstar artist Simone DeMeo. So this is a book that I'll highlight it a couple more times that I'm going to be picking it up, and it may be one of the first comics for those who are going to become channel members when it goes live next month. So just keep that in mind. That and the big reason for it for me for spotlighting is because I'm excited about the idea of them introducing the full Bat family in the new Batman Brave and the Bold movie. I'm hoping that the movie's going to do well. I mean, we're still years away from it, but I kind of like the idea that they're going to introduce the Damian Wayne Batman, and then but they're also going to showcase the rest of the Bat family, which includes Nightwing, Batgirl, possibly Red Hood, and hopefully Tim Drake. But hopefully, like more the classic Tim Drake than. So that's the first one I wanted to spotlight. That I'm going to be taking a look. Let's see. Struck out looking for the printing error on that Night Terrors. Okay, I didn't even know there was one. So that's a book I'm highlighting. Southern Comic Geek. I'm going to jump it over to you, or actually, I'm going to bring both of you guys on screen, and let's see if you guys have some books to highlight.
So Louis V was talking about that printing error. It's like a neon looking cover, but it printed out too dark.
That's right. Right. Yeah. That's right. Paul had one, and then a couple of the other guys. I think Weapon X got one as well.
Mm-hmm. And so they recalled them or whatever. So people got some before they got recalled.
Gotcha.
And so my pick is the issue number 2 to the new Hulk series. So Hulk is being drawn by Nick Klein, who most recently done the Thor series with Donny Cates. He was the artist for that. And then Philip Kennedy Johnson, who was the writer of several action comics for DC and several series over there. I think he did Last God, if I'm not mistaken, which was a big DC Black Label book a few years ago. But anyways, he is doing that, and they're returning Hulk, especially for those of you who are Hulk purists, away from the Cates spaceship Hulk, back to more of a horror vibe, which he originally started out as, and in Immortal Hulk, which a lot of people still herald as one of the better runs of Hulk, that horror vibe. So they're bringing him back down to that. The first issue's already come out. It was good, but you never know. You can't really gauge things only on first issues.
Right.
Second issue comes out this week. Art looks killer. So, yep, that's
I pulled it up here for you. So, hey, for those who are not familiar, just a quick note. You can find all these issues that we're talking about on previewsworld.com, and you can be able to place your orders ahead of time so you don't miss out on some of these great books. And
or a lot of LCSs offer discounts for that as well. It looks really good. Just on the art side of the thing, but I'm really glad that we're returning Hulk to more of his roots versus this spaceship theory that Donny Cates had before he went on a unfortunate downward spiral.
Right. That was very polite.
Well, I mean, as much as I didn't necessarily like the guy, I hate when anybody ruins their life with things. So
yeah, it's sad. It's a sad thing. But this does look cool, and I've shared, I think, on the show how much I like the horror vibe Hulk, especially a run that was done a little while back, and actually, no, it was a long time ago. The trade paperbacks that I shared, The Return of the Monster, that was like a long time ago. It feels like it was not long ago, but this looks pretty cool. Here, I'm gonna full screen it real quick so people can check it out. This is So when I talk, just a quick note, when I talk about Previews World and Pull Box and Pull List, this is actually through a local comic shop. So if your local comic shop allows you to do this online, this is one way that I do this. And one of the comic shops that I partner with, I do this with them. But I do have pull lists at other shops as well. And so I try to spread it out amongst a few different shops. And so that's a great way to get connected to a local comic shop. And guess what? Next month, I'm going to be giving you a big recommendation for a comic shop you can connect with if you don't have one geographically near you and you want to do mail order. We'll talk about that on Wednesday nights in a couple of weeks. So good call on this one. I wasn't aware that that Kate's was off of it and that it was they had changed directions on it.
Yeah, and actually he, which was alluded to in the chat, Kate's got on a spaceship and bailed out on the story before it was over with, and actually Ryan Stegman finished the writing duties and the artist duties. For the last.
The flag.
Yep.
I just want to second what Southern Comic Geek saying. This is I've loved the series so far. I think it was foreshadowing we're going to get a Hulk and Man Thing battle. I think in issue 4.
Yeah,
I believe, which I'm especially hyped to see. But yeah, Nick Klein, who did some great work also on Kate's Thor, which people don't talk about enough. I thought the first arc was great, but Nick Klein's art especially, I don't think got talked enough. But he's been killing this artwork so far. I can't wait to see what this looks like.
You're right. It is Ryan Otley. Sorry about that. I get them confused. They do have a similar art style, but Ryan Otley, best known obviously for Invincible, but yeah, he did finish that up. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and Ryan Otley's a nice guy. I got to meet him like in 2019, I think, at Comic Palooza. He's a nice guy. He signed some Invincible books for me. But well, cool. All right. So next up, Stu, what do you got? What do you got for us?
All right. I'll go with if you want to pull it up, Avengers #3, the Mark Brooks corner box variant have been killer on those. That's particular cover.
Those corner box variant.
Yeah, man, he's continuing to do those on Avengers and X-Men, I believe, for the time being. And I love grabbing those in every time they come out every month. But Jed McKay's been writing this, been good so far. I forget who the artist is, but I've been a big fan of McKay with Moon Knight, with that little Taskmaster mini that he did before that was really good. That Taskmaster mini was super funny and just a great little condensed story. I thought that was so well done. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he does. I know his Moon Knight run is coming to an end soon enough on Marvel. I think they finally announced the end of that, or it's getting that way. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he does on Avengers.
Okay, so let's see. I've got Avengers it's Uncanny Avengers #3. Is that it?
I think it's just the Avengers.
Uncanny Avengers is a title. Jerry Dugan is Dugan.
Oh, here we go. Yeah,
writing on that.
Okay, yeah. Here we go. I'm gonna pull it up. Sorry, yeah. There's a lot of results that came up when I typed in Avengers 3.
No, you're good.
So let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and share it real quick. All right, so yeah, y'all can check this out. And like I said, I have started to like this. I'm trying to get all of my LCSs to do this so that so it just makes it a lot easier. And that's one of the things we're going to be highlighting more on Mondays is books that you can pick up and ways to pick them up. So as you see here, this is the Avengers #3 that he was talking about and recommending. It says the first tribulation event strikes the Earth. The Avengers fly into action as the Ashen combine. A collection of the multiverse's greatest monsters descends from the impossible city to follow their respective appetites. City slayers all pursuing the assassination of metropolitan areas for sport. So that's dropping. That's dropping like in 2 days this week. Avengers #3. So you can check it out, and there is a preview. You can check it out. Y'all can see this. Yeah, so I'm showing this, but I think it's YouTube is not gonna like me doing this. So I'm gonna stop sharing it. But make sure and check that out for yourself. You can go to previewsworld.com, and that's one. So I was gonna share. So also coming out this month, also coming out soon. Oh yeah, here's the corner box variant that you were talking about for the Avengers one. I'm gonna share this.
Yeah, I think he's got an old school team lineup for this one.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's a vintage. Yeah, this is cool. I just found it here. Let me share it real quick. Oh, whoops. Okay, hang on. Let me get back to it. Sorry, guys. I think there's something with when you show comic pages and like the word bubbles are in it, and that can get you.
It's copyrighted. Yeah. Normally, like those review channels, they'll blot out those word bubbles.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, so this is it. I mean, yeah, it's pretty sick because it's got that classic, circa 1989-ish team, maybe.
Is that a West Coast team? I don't know.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. So it's got Wonder Man and Tigra and Hawkeye, but Thor and She-Hulk were never West Coast, right?
West Coast, yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think they were ever. Yeah. Yeah, El Green. I mean, I've really liked what they're doing with it. I think they look great, but I've had to cut back on variants. So,
well, and we were talking about artists and whether or not you wanted to meet them or not. Mark Brooks is one of those guys, but I will say his art is so killer. And so if y'all seen the Immortal X-Men runs, he's been doing the covers for those. The Storm one, I actually seen him drawing that at New Orleans Fan Expo, and he was painting it. And his like mastery of like lighting and stuff as he's painting those things is like unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you actually get to watch him working on that?
He was working on the cover when he was at the con.
Wow.
And so that's why he wasn't taking many like sketch requests and stuff.
Right, yeah.
And so he was just there. He'd stop a minute, sign a couple books and go back to doing that.
Wow. That is so cool. Yeah, I like his work. I do like his work. I have I think a Titans #1 from the Rebirth line that he signed somewhere in here. I have no idea where. I couldn't. Well, actually, no. I think it's right down here.
And he's another one that's really evolved his work, because if you remember his work in the Arana? I always mispronounce that name, but she's one of the Spider Girls.
Yeah, Aranya.
Yeah, that miniseries, he drew that.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't look nothing like that painted style that he does today. And so
wow.
He's really stepped his game up.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Well, I had shared this one, and I'll pull this one up real quick, and we'll give thoughts. So Power Girl #1 is also dropping in September. This is the John Boy Myers cover, which is probably the one I'm going to end up picking up. It drops September the 26th. No, Mrs. Collects already said I could get this one if I want to.
Just to clarify.
Just to clarify. So in case she's watching downstairs, she's like, yeah, okay.
It's not overly Power Girl like some of those.
It's not. Yeah, it's not Power Girl like Will Jack does Power Girl, or some of these other variant artists. But it's like
she does have an excessively large boob window, though.
I feel like that's probably in the. I feel like this is actually kind of one of the more tame ones that I've seen recently. Some of them, I feel like there's more window than there is costume.
It's like, where's your belly button at, right?
I know. It's like some of these costumes, I'm like, I just don't even understand how they stay on in the middle of like a battle or something. Right. So I've got so that was the B cover, and I'm going to pull it up real quick, and I just want to chat about it for a second, because I'm on the fence about whether or not this, like, what this is going to be like. So it says it's dropping September the 26th, and it says pretty punchy and powerful. After the events of Night Terrors, a long-dormant Kryptonian threat has returned to take down Superman and his family. Who could possibly stop it? Well, according to the Man of Steel, it's Power Girl. Witness a road trip. The road trip thing is what got my attention most. I love a good road trip comic book, or movie, or TV show. Witness a road trip race against time as Paige reconnects with her roots to save the world from her deadly past. Power Girl special writer Leah Williams returns with artist Eduardo Pansica from Supergirl for an ongoing series of epic proportions. And it does have an A cover from Gary Frank, which is also somewhere around here. I'll have to pull it up. But yeah, it's got a kind of a cool, I think the 1 in 25 is a pretty cool one. Because the 1 in 25 is one of those every Power Girl costume over the years variants. And so that's
like
all.
Boob Windows does this little in her costume, is what I'm talking about. Because you know the story behind that, as far as like, I forget which writer or artist it was. They were trying to see how far they would go before DC said, no, that's enough. And so if you watch Power Girls like in succession, like her boob window just kept going bigger and bigger until it finally
it's so okay. So this is, I'm gonna flex a little bit. This is first appearance of Power Girl, All-Star Comics, number 58. And if you see on the cover, you can see it was already fairly prominent.
Yeah.
You know, like from day one. This is her first appearance. So from day one, it was already kind of like, oh wow.
She wasn't as blessed back then. They make surgeries.
She was not. She was not. But she was certainly a looker.
Yeah. Right. I mean, there's, and I'm sure it was her great personality that added her to the JSA team. But talking about the artist inside of the book, Eduardo Pansica, I Googled, like, just to, in my mind, he's not a name that just kind of jumps out at me. So I'm looking at some of his art, and he's really done some really cool looking stuff. So you got the cover art, obviously. You got Power Girl, which is going to be a draw anyway for guys. And you got a good interior artist. I just don't know why they couldn't get somebody better than Leah Williams to write it. One man's humble opinion. So.
Oh yeah.
I've never read anything by. What has she written in the past? I am not familiar with her.
She did the Power Girl special, which I did pick up, but I have not. I haven't read it yet, so I'm not 100% sure of. Okay, look. So here's some more that I'm gonna share. So this is the 1 in 25 that I think I was talking. Yeah, this is the 1 in 25 Otto Schmid version. I'm going to share this real quick. This is the variant here, and it's got every one of her costumes through history.
She's had a couple of variants that I didn't remember. Okay,
she's got a lot, like way more than I realized.
Yeah, I mean, there's a central vibe to it, but yeah.
Yeah, and even at one point, it looks like she was sporting the S shield for a couple of variations, and then because she's a Supergirl from a different
from Earth 2, right,
from multiverse. So they even have her in the classic Supergirl outfit down here. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting that she stood the test of time, for so long, because. Yeah, they've done some different stuff, and then this is the Gary Frank cover A. Again, you've seen his work on I think it's Junkyard Joe, and so
I mentioned earlier with that art piece I showed. Yeah.
And then let me pull up because people are gonna appreciate this one. So this is the 1 in 50 Frank Cho, and this is the 1 in 50 Frank Cho, like a sketch variant.
Frank Cho has some fun covers.
He does. This one's very, she's very in her element there. And then the 1 in 100 This is an interesting one because it's a Warren Lau cover, and it's not quite the one that. Yeah, it's not quite the one that I had. I don't know. It's kind of cool. It's kind. I'm not a fan of it per se, but I'm not a fan of this one. The one I really like is this kind of where is it? The 1 in 25 one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Southern. What do you think, man? Do you think this one's going to be a good one to pick up or no?
I don't. And going back to Power Girl's staying power, I think that was probably aided by the fact that DC killed Supergirl off in the main universe in Crisis, right? And she stayed dead for a number of years. So Power Girl was the obvious alternative, to have a female Superman for years. And I feel like that's probably helped her out. And she's really come back into prominence here lately, being used an awful lot in Philip Kennedy Johnson's storylines there in Action Comics as more of like a Superman family type of a deal. Like I said, I feel like they've got the pieces to make something happen. And Leah Williams might jump out and surprise me. Who knows? She did the Trial of Magneto for Marvel. She did X Factor, the last X Factor run. Very underwhelming, both of them to me. But she did the Amazing Mary Jane, which I've heard people kind of liked. So she might be able to hit it. I've read the backup stories with that I didn't read that one shot, but I read the backup stories that she was doing for Power Girl.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, the thing is, unless you're like really honed in on a character, there's a character like, I don't care who it is, I'm going to buy it type of a deal.
Right. Yeah.
Comics are so expensive now
that
you have to start saying, okay, which one am I not going to pick up? Right. It's got to be a better than good story for me to go outside of my wheelhouse and pick up something I normally don't pick up, which would be Power Girl. Right.
Yeah.
I might pick up an issue 1 because they got some cool covers. I like that costume one because it's kind of reminiscent of Russell Dodman's X-Men costumes ones that he's been doing over on the Marvel.
Yeah.
I really like that.
And and the thing the problem is it's a ratio.
Oh,
I hate ratios because they never hold value, and they and the couple that I would want happen to be the ones that do hold value. Like, I've been watching. There was a Marvel Voices Comunidad #1 that was a George Perez homage.
Mm-hmm.
And it was White Tiger, but it was the original art from Deadly Hands of Kung Fu #19 that they had taken the line art and then they had just added some color touches to it. And so it was his literal first appearance, but it was reprinted as a cover. And George Perez did the artwork for White Tiger, Marvel's first Hispanic superhero.
Right.
He did that artwork originally back in that magazine. And so they did it, and it was like a 1 in 50, I think. And I think it was around $90 to $110 when it came out. It hasn't dropped. And it's like they're for sale. I had somebody offer me one for like $85, but I said, I really don't want to. I love the character. I love the artist. The book itself, it's all right. It's a bunch of short stories about Hispanic superheroes, but it would be 100% covered by, and I just can't see. So I don't know. So I've been waiting it out. It's been years since that cover came out because this was back when Perez passed away. It was right around that same time. They'd already they'd already set it up as the ratio variant before he passed away.
Yeah.
So then when he passed away, it spiked, and it came down just a little bit, but it's still fluctuating around $100. So
yeah, I mean, I'm hard pressed even on a 1 in 25 to pay $25 for it.
Yeah,
it's just maybe 15, maybe if it's a really good one. It's just because again, you can have anything you want, you just can't have everything you want, right?
Right. Yep.
Whether it's money or whether it's space, one of the two things or both are going to be your problem. So you have to make choices, and that's just one of the ratios, especially in today's comic book economy. Just don't do it that much for me. And if they do for other people, great, fine, knock yourself out. But it's just I'd rather spend that on a good back issue that's going to get a piece of art, something like that.
Yeah. And again, there are those who like it, but so for those of it, we if we're not like a full fan of it, hey, if you like it and you enjoy it, the one thing I would say is don't get caught up in FOMO, because fear of missing out can cause, and I'm sure it's happened to all of us. I know it's happened to me, where we pay for a book just to make sure we have it, and then later on the book, deflates. And that, it happens to all of us, but if you can kind of fight back the FOMO and hold off on a book and, kind of just track it and watch it, chances are you'll end up getting it for a really good price. So, if you just give it some time. So I'm also wanted to showcase, there's another one that's just, this was too fun not to share real quick, and then we'll close it up with this one. So this is coming up also, it's dropping, I think, in September. Predator versus Wolverine #1.
Yeah. I'm hyped for this one.
It's going to hit shops on September the 20th. And now I don't know about you guys, but I shared, I think like last week, I picked up Batman versus Predator 2 #1. And I just, I get a kick out of these, the Predator, the Aliens, the RoboCop, the Terminator, like matching them up against other well-known franchises. Because I think that comic books are really the only place that you can explore these types of matchups. Because they're not going to make a film of Predator versus Wolverine.
Yeah.
They're not going to make a TV show. I've seen some web series that have been really good.
Bat in the Sun, have you seen that one?
Yeah, Bat in the Sun. They do pretty good, but I think I think apart from those, and it's fun to see comic books doing stuff like this, and this is part of what I was kind of jazzed about with Marvel picking up the 20th Century Fox films for comic books. I think it's, I don't know, it could be fun. I'm going to pick up the first issue and see how it goes.
Well, and what's interesting about this, and there's some variants for this. There's a Hulk 340 homage.
Yes,
you can get. Weapon X turned me in on that one, but it's
also.
What was interesting about these is they're 20th Century Fox branded more than Marvel.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it has to do with how the money gets mixed up within Disney or
right.
They started doing that on the Planet of the Apes book as well. They got like that big banner across it, but
and I don't know what they hope to gain from that, unless it's a licensing issue, behind the scenes lawyer talk.
No, I don't know. It's weird.
So the deal, from what I've heard, Marvel has the rights, right? Because Disney owns 20th Century Fox now, and so they're creating an imprint in their Marvel comic line to keep it kind of separate, kind of like a Black Label or Wildstorm was. Okay. They're creating an imprint to tell all these stories using that catalog of characters.
Okay.
But I think keeping it out of kind of the standard Marvel fare. And I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It might be something with how the money is mixed up, but I don't know if that's as big a factor. I think it might be partially a creative and branding factor as well. Just because, if Disney owns it outright and can do whatever they want with it, and they've owned it long enough now that nobody else can, like Dark Horse or IDW, none of the other comic publishers can come back asking for anything.
But if at this point, is Marvel a bigger brand than 20th Century Fox? I would say, yeah. I mean, if you look at the movie catalog in the last 10, 15 years, I mean, by far, they're definitely a bigger catalog these days, more recognized brand. I used to not be a big fan of these crossovers because I was the kind of kid that didn't like their peas to touch their mashed potatoes. And I'm like, how does this even work? This is supposed to be separate in my mind. And so, but really, like IDW and Boom have done like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and TMNT crossovers that I really liked, and there's been some other ones. So I'm looking forward to this. I plan on getting the whole 340 homages for it.
Yeah, let's pull
sure.
those up real quick. Let me let everybody take a look at those. So
this is the idea. Like, I can't believe it.
So here is so they did it. They did two versions of it. This is the Predator focused one, and then they also did a a reverse of it that's also kind of cool because this is, and then here's the Wolverine version.
Yeah, curses to Marvel for making this $8 on me.
Hey, they knew what they had.
Ah.
All right, they knew what they had. Yeah. So okay. So people are asking about. Somebody asked about when is the FOC on this Wolverine book. The FOC for it will not be for. Let me see. Yeah. So this is still in pre-order, so it's not been cut off yet, or it's not even to the FOC part. Let me pull this up real quick. Pre-order in shops. Let me see. I'm showing off my, let's see, full description. Okay, it doesn't give me a date for when the cutoff is. I already have it added, but yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh, wait, here we go. Okay, there we go.
I'm sorry about that. I accidentally swiped out.
Yeah. All right. So so for Larry Green, I know you're asking about it. So yeah, so there's two different covers. There's $7.99 retail price, and the regular one. Wait, no, you know what? Comic Geek, the A cover is $7.99.
Okay.
So yes, it doesn't matter what variant you have. They're all $7.90. Oh man, this is expensive if you want to get all of them. Yeah, so you're
is it a one shot, or is it an ongoing miniseries?
I thought it was an ongoing because there was a
I think it is
for number 2, but that's crazy. Geez. So it's in shops on September the 20th. Personally, I'm only getting the A cover. But keep in mind that this is going to be a massive print run on this. It'll be a super popular book. It's already being spotlighted heavily, and it's a couple months out. So, so for collectability, you might consider one of the Mike McCone 340 variants because not everybody may be aware of those. So, like I said, so this is the Wolverine version, and then there is a Predator version here. That's the reverse of it, and I love homage covers, but I can't. Oh man, I just can't. I can't justify that because that's if I bought all three, like the cover A and then each of these 8 times, that's $25.
Right on one comic book.
Right
really.
on the same content.
Yeah,
and so it's so.
Well, like Larry was saying, I mean, it's a 340 homage. I mean, luckily I don't collect ASM 300 homages because I'd really be broke. But I mean, there's a lot of 340 and 181 homages too. So
yeah.
He says he's only going to get one. So I wonder which one are you going to get, Green Machine? Would you rather get the Predator with Wolverine or vice versa? Uh-oh. Did we lose Carlos?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I figure it's going to be a mini series, like 4 issues or something like that. That's what they generally are these days. But
so
Wolverine.
Cool. Okay, sorry, I was seeing some stuff. And I'm picky 2, Wolverine all the way. Okay, so so he wants the Wolverine one. Okay, so it's oh gosh, I'm doing like math because then there's other variants as well.
Right.
I do not understand for the life of me this Peach Momoko one. But then there's Predator versus Wolverine number 2 hits the following month on October the 25th. So yeah, so it's at least 2 issues. But yeah, so it looks like a fun series, but I just don't know about getting. Let's see. So this is So this the tab I'm sharing now. This is what you see on Previews World when you're looking at them. So there is a Dynamic Forces CGC graded book for $100. The Dynamic Forces Predator versus Wolverine silver signed by Greg Land for $70. One signed by Percy for $36. Then you got the regular. Then here's the Peach Momoko over here, which I again don't understand. And then they are soliciting already for Wolverine #2, so I've got that pre-ordered as well because I kind of want to read it and see what they do with it. Because I mean, you got to admit this is going to be a pretty cool fight.
Oh yeah, it's going to be pretty. It should be pretty bloody, knockdown, drag out.
Oh yeah, because you get those 2 characters going at it, and yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting though. It looks like the A cover has it looks like the Weapon X version of Wolverine. So
that might be where they might be going to do it like back in the day.
Right.
Like you met him when he was in Canada, that back then, and then like he meets another one later on because you know how the Predators, will come back later.
Yeah.
Try to get the body and stuff.
Yeah. So this is that's kind of interesting. I just realized that for this one, so I'm gonna bring that one up. Yeah, because he's got all the Weapon X stuff in him. You can see the metal spikes in him too, like on the arms and shoulders. So cool. Okay. Well, hey, so that's the recommendations I got for this week. Just wanted to share a little bit more about some of those. Make sure that people knew about the Previews World pull box variant, and then like I said, we'll be sharing some more information about local comic shops that you can partner with to make sure you get your books in a timely fashion. Because most comic shops will ship books out to remote customers. And we'll be sharing some more with you on the next couple weeks on the giveaway show. Speaking of this upcoming week, we have another episode of the giveaway show. We're going to be covering a lot of the San Diego Comic-Con announcements that came out. One of the things that I thought was so interesting about this year's San Diego Comic-Con was there was not a lot of big film announcements like we've seen over the past several years. It was kind of refreshing to see the biggest news coming out being around comics, a few TV shows here and there, but to have it be around comics and toys, and kind of shifting back more. That I'm really interested in sharing information from the Void Rivals panel that was there. I did not go, but I was following it on Twitter and some people that were there on Twitter. So we've collected some information. So that'll be coming up this Wednesday on the giveaway show. We'll be giving away another book or 2. So make sure you're hanging out with us. Also, quick note for those who are watching and have wondered, we do still have the last batch of giveaway books that are going out. So I know some people have been waiting for a little while. I was able to finally get some of those books from 2 of our guys who, was finally able to get those books from them. And so we're getting those packaged up and going to be going out this week. So be looking for those in the mail. Thanks so much for everybody who's tuned in from us. Big thanks to Southern Comic Geek and Stu, aka Dr. Doom's Fan Club, for hanging out with us. I'm going to let these guys do a final shout out and kind of shout out where you can find them and learn more about them.
Well, you can check me out on my Instagram or YouTube or wherever else that I might be hanging out at, Southern Comic Geek, all one word on Instagram and 3 words on YouTube. Almost 2 a.m. Yes, thank you for hanging out with us into the wee hours of the morning. Hopefully, Carlos was able to use his sultry voice to say your good night prayers and all that kind of good stuff. Anyway, so it's fun to be on the show tonight, and good meeting Stu. Of course, I start running my mouth. don't let many the people get words in edgewise. Carlos is like, hey, it's my channel, mute him. So but yeah, it's always fun talking comics and all that kind of good jazz. Don't have anything upcoming on my channel. Probably be on an auction somewhere, some way. But if you're following me over on the Instagrams, you'll see where all I might be at. And if you go to my YouTube channel and look in the description of the video, you'll find some coupon codes that if you would like, you can use. And you'll also find the Linktree link to all the platforms that I'm on. And so if you're on those platforms, but you're not following me, I'd appreciate a follow. That's all.
Awesome. Hey, let's take it over to Stu. Final thoughts and
Well,
shout out.
I second what Southern Comic Geek has said. It was great hanging out with you guys. Always nice meeting new people. And you weren't hogging the mic, man. I'd love to hear people with more knowledge than me, and also see that awesome art collection. It was very cool. So very cool hanging out and meeting with you. I'm over on Instagram, Dr. Doom's Fan Club, sharing some Doom every day, some comic book coolness, some type of way, highlights from my own collection, whatever else. Just enjoying being a part of this awesome community on Instagram and YouTube. So go check me out. Give me a follow over there. Carlos, thanks you again for having me on. Always so much fun hanging out with you guys on Monday night. Appreciate it.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, thanks to those guys. And thanks to each and every one of you for hanging out with us, especially you, Thiago. It's 2 a.m. there, man. Hey, wow, you're hanging in there. So thanks for being with us. It is 11:40 Central where I'm at right now. We've enjoyed it. Make sure to be here Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Central for the next episode of the giveaway show. Should be a lot of fun. We'll have, like I said, SDCC announcements, plus other stuff and some giveaways. Also, this Friday, I promise, I've got something Hulktastic to share with y'all. Let me see. Did I actually download it or not? Let me see if I got it here, because maybe I can give a sneak preview. Do I have it loaded? No, I don't. So you're just gonna have to wait until Wednesday to see it. But yeah, looking forward to that. And again, you're the most important part. So thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure and do so, because I'd love you to stay connected with us and keeping up with what we're doing. Having a lot of fun here on the channel, and looking forward to just continuing to grow and get more folks in here. And just get to hang out in our little corner of the comic book community. I'm Cross Collects Comics, and just a big thank you from me and the rest of the panel for hanging out with us tonight. It has been a true pleasure, and we will see you next week. So we can't wait. Take care. Have a good night.